Hey, all Chris Mystery cleaning with the File Coast once again. So yeah, I've just got done today, which is a Monday. That's fine. I worked Saturday. Did a deep clean, and me. When you work a weekend day, your sort of diary just shifts to the left in your head, and you're just like, huh? So what we've been up to this week? Well, last week even. Anyway, we've done window cleaning. We've done a deep clean on a bungalow, which was the Saturday. We've done some gutter clearing jobs, and I've been trying to sort of grow the window cleaning round in the areas that we operate in, and just sort of gradually sort of build up, etc. We've taken on around about 8 or 9 jobs. I went out canvassing on Thursday afternoon and got sort of 9 jobs there. Some of them were just little, bookshy little fronts, a front of a house sort of thing for a fiver, and there was 1 or 2 jobs in there that was sort of 30 quid, and your standard sort of semis, which are about sort of 12 quid, etc. So there's a handful of little decent little jobs in there, and we're also looking at sort of getting a job doing the internal window cleaning for a golf club near to us. So I'll keep you posted on that. Hopefully we'll get a video of some internal window cleaning, which should be good. So we've had also the quoting side of life has been getting quite sort of interesting, shall we say. We're dealing with people that sometimes they have a sense of almost entitlement. A couple of people we dealt with, sort of my favourite sort of group of people, sort of, which are the property developers, etc., that seem to have this sort of this sense of entitlement that well, I'm a property developer and blah. I'm just be interesting to hear sort of what you guys, some of the guys out there that work on the glass have been having with property developers, where and I'm sure I'm not alone in this. I can't be, to be honest with you. Where I had a gutter clearing job that I had to go and quote, and it was this guy's house, and all it was an upstairs gutter, a downstairs gutter above their ground floor, and it was just the front of a house, a double gutter, but it had if you imagine the door in the middle, and then bays either side, and then a first floor on top, a gutter that ran all the way across the front, and then a lower gutter that ran across the ground floor with a small extension. Okay. Bit of perspective, normally we charge roughly, for gutter clearing, we charge roughly 80 quid for a semi-detached without a conservatory. It can go up to as high as 100 to 120 for just a gutter clear, and occasionally, if I'm feeling generous, I'll include the window cleaning afterwards as well, if I'm feeling generous. That's our general routine. But I saw this gutter, and it was like the Hanging Gardens of Babylon. There were, there was more green there than sort of the Amazon, I think. The gutter at the top had about 3 or 4 inches worth of grass around the entire length of the gutter. There was a tree overhanging the property, which I think has dumped a lot of leaves into the gutter, which is what I think's clogged up all these gutters, etc. So my price was I put the price in at 90 quid because it was going to be absolutely bogging, and we were going to have to take away a fair chunk of green waste, if you like, to put in the green bin, which I don't mind doing. But ultimately, if I'm paying for my the waste to be taken away, then obviously that's going to be thrown back at the customer. So again, gave him the price, and the guy looked at me like had a face like a smashed crab, and I was like, oh, I'm not paying that, blah blah. I can get someone to do that for 40 quid, and I was like, well, I wish you well then, sort of thing. And I wish you well then, no dramas. If you change your mind, you know where we are. Now, sometimes that's the best way to deal with people. Give them your price. If they look at you like you've just taken a dump on their doormat, then your best bet is to probably not waste your breath in any further with these people. So but it's again, the comeback from this guy was a classic. Was, well, I'm a property developer, and you know, if you do this for a good price, there could be more work down the line. And you know, what guarantees? When someone says that, you have to ask yourself, what guarantees of future work are they truly prepared to offer you? You know what I mean? What is the likelihood that someone who just driven the price down on that first job is going to part with their hard-earned cash down the line for bigger and better things? You know, give it a rest, mate. It's not going to happen. So the guy's obviously he's like, well, I'm not paying that, blah blah, and all this sort of stuff. I'm a property developer. You know, I know loads of people in the trades and blah blah and all this sort of stuff, and they'll come and do it for cheap and all this sort of stuff. Do you not want future ongoing work? And I just said to him, I says, well, the thing is, you have to understand your status as a property developer has about as much to do with quoting this job as me being a Sagittarius. You know, your status as a property developer does not affect the price one way or the other. I simply quote the job as I see it in front of me. And what I see in front of me is a property that's been neglected. There is a good chunk of soil in those gutters. You know, there is clearly watermarks and moss on the paving stones on the ground, to the point where it's slippy. Now, that kind of water flow, you know, that kind of water flow is not something that just popped up overnight. This is a property that's been neglected, and it's going to take, you know, a fair amount, not a fair amount, you know, it's going to take, you know, a fair amount of effort to get it up to code, or get it up to your standard, if you like. You know, and that's the way I approach this, is that, you know, if someone looks at you, you know, like you've just really offended them when you give them the price, then your best bet oftentimes is to sort of just turn around and say, well, okay, well, you know where we are if you change your mind. And you know, and often case it has happened, you know, in the past, you know, over the 6 years that we've been trading, it's been maybe 2 or 3 times where we've offered a price, they've sort of, you know, gone, we're not paying that, and sort of almost dismissed it out of hand and said, no, we're not doing that. You know, oh, forget it. We'll get someone cheaper. And then give it sort of 2 or 3 weeks later, they're giving us a call back again and actually say, oh, actually, does that price that you quoted us still stand? It's like, yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah, not a drama. Cool, can we book it in? You know, because we've left the door open for them to sort of, they've clearly tried to find someone to, you know, do the work. They've failed to find someone that they've either failed to find someone that wants to do the work to start with, or they've failed because, you know, they can't find anybody that will do it for the price that they've got in their head. They've got this little figure in their head, which they, in their value structure, says the job's worth X. And that value structure doesn't take into account anything other than the fact that the customer has an image in their head that that's what they're prepared to pay. It doesn't take into account things like, you know, wages. It doesn't take into account insurance. It doesn't take into account any of the business expenses that a business owner has to sort of encounter when doing this kind of work. This is purely a number that they've plucked out of thin air and gone, that's reasonable, I'm not going above that price. And that was the case with this fella. And so anyway, yeah, like I say, the best thing you can do is leave the door open and just sort of say, right, okay, no dramas. Well, if you change your mind, you know where we are. Have a good day. And, you know, skip off into the Hulu. Job done. You know, that's the best thing you can do. But, yeah, the crux of this sort of video is ultimately just to say that your value structure is your value structure, okay? And when you quote a job, you have to quote it based on what your values are, not on what you think the customer is prepared to put up with, okay? Your best bet is to attract customers that see the value in what you have to offer. The vast majority of the customers that we encounter are not going to go up a ladder and clear a gutter. You'll never get them up a ladder to start with, let alone do any form of manual work, okay? You know, they're sort of, you know, they will not do this kind of work. They will pay. They would much rather pay someone like me to come along and organize it and you know and take all that stress off them, and then you know present them with a bill at the end. And then they pay me. I'll say thank you very much, and then I disappear. And then the next time they have a problem, they'll give me a call. What you know, your best bet is ultimately to be a problem solver. Okay. Now, the reality is that gone are the days where people will work sort of 40, 50 hours a week, what have you, and then come home and then get the ladder out, go up the window because the wife's been nagging them about the windows, and they'll clean the windows and all this sort of stuff. People's attitudes since, like, you know, the 1950s have changed dramatically. Okay, people do not want to have the hassle of working in whatever job they want to work in. Okay, and then come home and spend their weekends doing manual work. They're just not interested, generally. And those are the sorts of people you want as your customer. You don't want someone that says, well, I'll go up a ladder and do it myself. You will get these customers where it is quite amusing. You've got to laugh. And you've got to watch your tongue sometimes. You know, I've been, you know, caught thinking out loud once or twice. And I gave a quote. Oh God, this is years ago. My first year of trading, and I was the wrong side. Again, my fault. This. I was the wrong side of a 12-hour day, cleaning windows and doing gutters and all manner of manual graft and stuff like that. I am sweating like a gypsy with a mortgage. I am stressed. I am tired. You know, I want all I want to do is see my bed. And I gave a quote to a gentleman about window cleaning. Now, this is back in the day when I was doing ladder work and stuff like that. And the guy said to me, how much window cleaning, blah, blah. And I simply said to the guy, oh yeah, it's £10 front and back, not a problem. £10 front and back? Get a ladder and do it myself, kind of thing. And I just reacted, which was wrong, by the way. I just reacted and said, well, what stopped you up to now then? You know, because these windows were absolutely bogging. They were absolutely honking. You know, you could draw a smile. If I drew a smiley face in that window, it would still be there now. You know what I mean? This was within my first year of trading. This is easily 5 years ago, this. And, you know, you could draw a smiley face in that window, and if I did, it'd still be bloody there now. You know what I mean? And again, people are not. People say, oh, I'll go up a ladder and do it myself. They won't. They just won't, you know? So, but the ones that say, oh, I'll go up a ladder and do it myself and won't, really, you know, they want someone to do it for nothing or for as close to nothing as they can get it. And these are penny pinchers. These are people I have got absolutely no time for. And even now, I quote jobs, and it just makes me chuckle. People's mindset over doing this kind of work, and you know, in the conditions that we do it. You know what I mean? Because people want reliability, but you know, they're not prepared to sort of pay a fair crack for it. You know, so well, you know, I mean, I'm generalizing. The reality is if you can provide value to a customer, then yeah, fine. You know, you'll always find someone that will want you to do the work, you know, and will pay good money for it. But for every, I don't know, it's 50-50, isn't it? For every sort of 10 customers that find the value in something you offer, there'll be another 10 that were just like, whoa, I'll do it myself and all this sort of stuff. Knock yourself out, kiddo. I'll sit here and watch. You know, but anyway. Right, I'm going to knock it on the head, boys and girls, chaps and chapesses. Have a good week, everyone, and I shall see you when I shall see you. All the very best. Take care.